Been feeling under the weather the last couple days. Still extremely congested. So I think today we're going to try to cruise this thing up to the driveway and just knock out some random odds and ends as far as, well, you know, pulling the AC stuff, charcoal canister, and maybe our EGR delete, EGR block off, vacuum tube, you know, kibosh. Clean up this engine bay, empty it out a little bit, and, you know, maybe fiddle around, make it run a little better. We'll see how bad the brakes work. I might have one of these master cylinders laying around. I don't think so. But, you know, just knock out some random odds and or ends on it, and maybe, you know, finally address the interior. It's disgusting. So, first step will be, though, getting into the front yard. Well, it's been a couple days since we last ran this thing, so we'll see if she'll start on just gasoline or if she needs starting fluid. Did rig up a quick throttle cable bracket scenario. Definitely not going to be a permanent solution, but, you know, might get us through to the driveway and, you know, maybe a couple test drives. But all right, let's see how she runs. All right, no starting fluid. Hey, right off the key. Glass in my tushy now. Well, I guess no real good place to start today. So first, I think we're just gonna try to suck as much of this glass and pine straw out of here as possible. Probably unbolt the seats, maybe even pull the carpet. Try to hose everything off before it finds its way back in. So nothing fun today. I need to try to get these seats out, and well, good, the sliders do work. The brackets, they don't line up with this chassis very well, so I don't know exactly how they're held in. Guess we'll find out. Alright, well, 3 bolts ought to do it. Okay. They're a little rusty. That's fine. We'll just suck all that up. There's definitely glass in my bum. Dang it. Dang, not bad, huh? I mean, still pretty bad, but look how blue this interior is. I love it. I'm obsessed. So, still got some obstacles over there. But this side's coming out pretty good. We'll definitely pull the front half of the carpet out. Maybe the rear. Probably the rear also. And we'll hose them down. But yeah, step 0.5. 0.5% of the way done. Whew. Got a bit of a ecosystem in the passenger seat. Once again, look how blue that floor is. On these guys, we're gonna evict them out from under here. And well, you know, this thing was completely full of water, so that's nice. Most of the glass is off the dash. Cool. So we'll pull this thing out. Keep going. Might have been a touch of rust starting to form under the passenger seat. You know, nothing that can't be fixed by simply ignoring it. So we'll suck that up. Well, basically, only the seat belts holding the carpet in now, so should be able to get it out. Guess we'll get an idea what the floors look like under this thing. Well, around the drain plugs, we definitely have some erosion. But up here, you know, hard to say with the sound ending in, but actually look fairly solid on the passenger side floorboard. Once again, drain plug on the driver's side. That's your problem, child. Oh, and well, fairly clean over here. I mean, completely filthy. And there's like dead road right there. But otherwise, you know, rust-wise, pretty clean in here. Get this vacuumed up, maybe even definitely hose it out as well. And I don't know what's next, but I guess we'll figure that out too. Something oddly refreshing about just carelessly blasting the interior of a car with a hose, because, you know, it's better than what it had. So we'll just keep going there. Maybe give a wipe down on these things, but boy, those look nice. And well, you know, we're getting somewhere. I don't know where, but we're getting there. So scrubbed a little bit on the headliner here. We're gonna hit that with a hose and see if the rest is worth doing. So what is the sun visor? Whew, it's gross. It's not usually when you're hosing the interior down that you find stuff that starts working. So randomly out of nowhere, the dome light. It just works now. You know, probably blow it up with some of this cold water. But hey, that's neat. So overall, back here, the trunk seems to be the most rusted out. Ironically though, this pocket over here, well, it's holding water, as you can see by the water line that was up here, which is wild because you'd think after all the time of holding water, it would have rusted out of the bottom and been draining, but it's not. So should be a little tiny drain plug down there. I can pop out and let it. And then I guess we'll be done with the inside for now. Probably move up here and start removing some what we'll consider to be unnecessary items out of this engine bay so that we can make space for what I think the next project's going to be. Well, not next project, but the engine project. What we plan to do with this engine. So, yeah, that'll be next. Oh, yes. From green to blue. Nice. Remember when I was so surprised that this pocket wasn't rusted out? Well, maybe a little bit, you know. It's fine. So, this is what we're starting with here. So, I'm gonna pull the AC compressor. Somebody had already pulled the smog pump. I'll take this charcoal canister, all the AC lines out, this overflow and washer fluid reservoir, and all the little leftover bits and pieces of emission stuff. We'll do an EGR delete, and, well, you know, clean up what we can. We're going to need to either find a header or a stock manifold for this car, because this one is hecked right on through. We might try to do some real shady stuff and sleeve that and weld it back up, but it's probably not worth doing. So I guess that's the next step of this process today. I had wanted to try to save air conditioning components on this car, because, you know, I like air conditioning. But it's all in pretty bad shape, so... Is it bad that the only reason I started recording was because I had previously spilled gas before I started using the grinder? And I thought, hey, this could be great content. Fortunately, just our usual crappy content. Sheesh. So, we've got a lot of time just into this side alone with the AC bracket and everything that was on this side. Up here, she's all exploded trying to get the condenser out. Haven't even really gotten over here. Not that much will clean up over there, but we're getting there. Probably gonna have to run to the dollar store here in a second, because I've used up my entire surplus of Law's Totally Awesome, and we're gonna have to get that for the yucky stuff. So scrub on it a little bit with what I've got left, and then probably run and grab something to drink and some Law's. Still haven't run off to get any Law's Totally Awesome yet. However, with what we did have, we went ahead and touched this side up. You might be, you know, a little upset that it's not as nice as, you know, you might have thought it would be, but boy, it definitely looks better than what we started with. Guess now is the time we actually have to go get some more. So, put up some of these tools, close up shop, run up the road. Grab this bottle of Awesome out of the truck. It's so cold it almost feels like a refreshing drink, and I almost thought about it. It's hot. Let's get to work. Still not working. Impressive. Got in here mainly because I was trying to bring this main harness from in the engine bay to in the car, because, well, they're kind of ugly and they really don't have to be out there at all. So brought all this into the car rather than out there. To do so, I had to drop the blower motor box, which I hosed out. Wow. And clean the blower motor fan doodad, and vacuumed inside the evaporator box. Now, if you've never revived an old piece of crap that has been sitting for a long time, you might not know why that's so amazing. But since I just did it, I'll explain it. Normally, when a car sits for a long time and gets the rodents, you know, invested in it, they like to bring trash, leaves, and into the blower motor box and the evaporator core, and for years you'll just have leaves coming out of these vents if you ever run the heat fans on. So to alleviate some of that, went ahead and did the old sucky suck down in there, and hopefully eliminated some of that mess. So just a whole bunch of nothing fun going on today, but we are in fact doing it. That's right. Spent a lot of time yesterday hosing off this carpet, and I mean, still crazy dirty. So I guess today I'm gonna hit it with the pressure washer for a second. Color's nice though. Love the blue. Whew. Still a little under the weather, and we really pushed it yesterday. So maybe it won't go so hard today, but we did get a lot done under the hood yesterday. Much cleaner, less junk. Today, our goal is going to be rewire the fuse box side as far as your positives and your negatives to the battery. And well, with no battery tray, we're going to need to mount a new battery. So the header might come off today. If so, may just try to fix this stuff up, you know, for the time being. But kind of need to get to the starter to get to the positive wire that goes to the starter. And well, Toyota, they didn't really make it real easy to get to, so we'll see. So, you know, one thing we haven't really covered is mounting batteries. Okay, pretty important to be secure. You don't want that thing, even I use these lawnmower batteries, even that thing's extremely heavy and can do some damage. Not to mention, you know, if that touches the wrong thing, boom, fireball. So how do you mount a battery nice and secure? Well, simple J hooks. These are from the Walmarts. Don't bother buying the one that's got the little rubber strap in it. That's ridiculous. Why would you do that? But if you do end up with that one, just know, throw the rubber strap away. Those things, they dry up, crack, and just immediately fall apart. So all you actually need though are these sweet little J hooks. And to secure those, literally all you need is a hole in the body somewhere, preferably somewhere fairly sturdy. Now, what do you do if you don't use the chin sealed rubber strap? Literally any piece of metal. You use a wrench that's box ends on both sides, a piece of aluminum flat stock. I've got this 1-inch steel strap. That's what we're going to use today. And since we don't have a battery tray, we're going to get creative. I've mounted these small batteries like this way to the side of a fender because, well, you can do that. So I think we're going to try that today with this battery. So this Core Sport already for the quad headlights, I believe, already has a hole there. And just, you know, straight down from it, looks like if we punch a hole there, we'll be in business. So one thing to consider is we might actually have too long of J hooks for this, but we'll figure that out too. Nope, we'll be right on the money. All right, so our 1-inch strap, we've drilled our 2 holes in. Good thing those holes are exactly the right size, because I actually didn't pay any mind to what size these chains were. So, something like that. And we will run our wing nuts down. And later we'll need to trim these up just so they look good. And, you know, they're not dangerous. But that'll be the gist of it. So, still looks like a mess, but overall, we're the way we're gonna be in here. Got it all back together, and I didn't get crank from the key, and I was like, oh, what the heck? So that's why I got the multimeter out here, and I'm sitting here like, what did I do? Right? It's got crank if I jumper it, but it didn't have crank from the key. So what the heck was that about? And I'm looking all around, and I'm like, clearly I screwed something up. And well, no, actually, yesterday I moved. There's a big main harness that goes across the back of the firewall here. And really, there's no reason it needs to be in the engine bay. So a nice way to clean things up is just bring it inside the car. Well, that big connector right there, never plugged it back in. So everything from the key to out here, well, it was doing nothing. So with that hooked back up, we do in fact have, well, it's not plugged in. Let's revisit that. Take 2. Let's just forget about that first one. But yeah, cranks over from the key again. So, hate to do it, but we've already got this header off. And it's really rusty. So, in order to really get my welder out and try to fix on that though, I need to do something I've needed to do, which is clean up my life in my workspace. It's a big mess, so probably clean that up. Got to build some IKEA furniture for the fiance. Enjoy some air conditioning, and then I guess we'll weld up that header. Probably a waste of time because A, it's probably going to blow out again, and B, I don't really want that header for my future plans for this motor. Pretty wild, but actually just wire brushing this thing, it became silver. I don't know if it was chrome plated or don't think it was ceramic coated, but if it was silver paint, that's pretty good stuff. Tons of holes in it, so I guess we're gonna go have a field day with the welder. Once I got the welder out, got a whole nother welding project I need to take care of and putting off, so I guess we'll get sidetracked with that a little bit too. Maybe change into some more welding certified shoes. I guess moment of truth, because well, we had everything, literally everything, disconnected under the hood, so nothing. That's good. Okay. Huh. Assuming it's bad connection at the negative terminal. This is my bolt. Get it. Oh, well, you know. Yeah. That's got to be plugged in. The start signal wire wasn't plugged into the start. That'll do it. Still have a bunch of vacuum leaks we should address. Out of gas. So, I guess we need to address the fuel tank situation. My money's on this thing is probably ruined, but we'll have to drop it and find out. But seems to run all right. Believe it or not, I don't think I've hit the brake pedal once on this car, just because I knew it probably wouldn't work, and if I ever did, the brakes would probably get stuck on. So we haven't looked at those yet. But I think got a plan for that too.